Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shine and sea. My name's Larry. My call sign in amateur radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Let's take a look at your solar weather forecast for today, the 19th day of October, running into the 20th. We're going to do both HF, VHF, and UHF part of this one, so I hope it helps you today. First, let's start with the A1A. This is a good look at what's going to be happening in the next few days. Our sunspots are starting to revolve off the front face of the sun towards Earth, and we're seeing a solar plague down there at the far left end around 8 o'clock. That's not a sunspot region, but it's going to impact our weather here, I believe, tomorrow, rising noise floors. Here is the backside view of the sun. That squared area there around 10 o'clock, that is hopefully a new sunspot region to form. We should see some results from that by Friday. I would assume tomorrow it'll come, but most likely by Friday. Your last 5 days of magnetosphere view of the sun, these are the sunspots only, taking away all the bright spot of the sun, the current, all that brightness, and just focusing on those sunspots that help our ionosphere to refract signals for HF. Here it is 5 days ago, and as we watch the sunspots start to revolve from east to west, we end up with where we're at today. Then you see that solar plug right there at the very bottom at 8 o'clock. Here's why tomorrow I think we're going to have higher noise floors, significantly higher than today. And today is an excellent day to work DX. Take a look here. You're seeing coronal hole 34, all right? Now that's having some impact towards Earth, and what that does is it revolves a little bit around the sun, is to increase our solar wind. The problem is there's also a solar plague in that area as well. Take a look here. See there at 8 o'clock, the solar plague, that's right about where that coronal hole is. That's going to elevate the solar wind tomorrow, and I believe bring our KP index much higher than people are forecasting. Here is your solar flare detection. Nothing to really worry about. We're below the sea level. This would indicate a drop in SFIs. So look for SFIs to drop a little bit. I would say within plus or minus 7 from where we're at today. Our current SFI, 114, down 12 from yesterday, so that's the drop we talked about yesterday. Smooth sunspot number is at 84. That's up 25 from yesterday. Our area number is at 190. That is also up 80 from yesterday. Here is the good news in today's forecast. The KP index, these are noise floors, especially below 10 megahertz, very quiet. KP1, noise floors, S0 to S1. We thought it would be that way. It's here. So enjoy it while you can. I think tomorrow these are going to be much more elevated than people are forecasting. Here's what I'm talking about. If you take a look at, then this is not updated for whatever reason. The 19th is a KP2. That's quiet conditions. Tomorrow they're looking at 3 or 4. I think we hit a G1 storm tomorrow simply because of the solar radiation coming there at 8 o'clock that's going to interact with the coronal hole number 34, and that's going to face Earth, and I think it's going to raise our KP index, thus for our noise floor is going to be going up. Look at this. Global D-layer absorption today. Look how low it is. This is very low. We're talking 7 megahertz. Should work just fine right now. It's been low all morning long here, and even 40 meters and up to 80 is attenuated by maybe 1 dB. That's it. So really right now, a very rare day to be able to make calls on 40 and maybe even 80 meters. That might go quite long for you. The QRZ conditions have changed a bit today. I want you to focus 6 meter E-skip was open as of 1506. Later it closed, but look for 6 meter openings today. Keep your, if you got a double, a 2 receiver radio, kind of keep an eye on 6. You might find some interesting conditions popping up. EME degree for move bouncers today is fair. BZ latitude positive 1.7 now, and that solar wind is down to 421.6 kilometers per second. You see the HF band conditions? I think we're much better than that, and the MUFs point that out. I'll get to that here in just a moment. I want to be able to show you this real quick because this is something that I think a lot of people stop at. When they see this, they say, well, yeah, HF isn't very good. It actually is really good today. Let's take a look at the current Kilo Charlie 2 Golf map. This is maximum usable frequencies around the world. Starting up in Alaska, 13 megahertz up around Anchorage, and then look how many frequency bands open up between Alaska and the United States. Currently 27, north part of Montana there, 29 already in in the Denver area, 32 Brownsville, Texas, 27 Pensacola, Florida. And look at the East Coast, all on 10 meters, both in Washington, D.C., up in New England, Washington, D.C., about 29, New England, about 30, Great Lakes, 32. And look how it corresponds towards Europe. 33 megahertz right now, your MUF in Great Britain, 33 as well in France, 34 in northern Italy, 30 in south. If you're heading towards a little farther east, you're going to be at 30 megahertz in Germany, 31 Bulgaria, 34 in Greece. And heading into Africa, two big swaths of 10 meters are open right now. Namibia is about the borderline for 10 meters. And then as you head north, you're going to find 10 meters all throughout North Africa. Far east, 12 megahertz in Japan right now, and still dark in Australia, but good conditions. You really have decent conditions. You're still on 40 meters, but 20 isn't far away. You're going to have a great day of DX, both in Australia and both the North and South Islands today of New Zealand. Look at, as well, South America. 25 is the only outlier there in North Brazil. 35 there in Sao Paulo, 34 in Argentina. Just great conditions, really good conditions, both north-south from North America as well as east-west currently between North American continent and Europe. Let's take a look at some Hepburn maps. This will show you where tropospheric ducting is occurring for VHF and UHF, folks. Here's what it looks like in the eastern part of North America. You can see the areas where tropospheric ducting is occurring and where you can maybe make some long calls with VHF and UHF. Heading towards the southern part here of the Atlantic Ocean, you see just how far the tropospheric ducting is going out from Florida. Just a huge area there. Same with the northern part of Africa. Just some amazing tropospheric ducting possible on VHF and UHF in these areas. Let's go to the west coast of the United States here in a moment. This is the Caribbean, again, illustrating where some good tropospheric ducting could be there for you for long distance DX on the VHF and UHF bands. Western part of North America, large area there, Oregon and Washington coast, as well as the central and southern California coast. Some really good conditions for some VHF and UHF tropospheric ducting. Same thing here as you head back towards the Atlantic from Africa. It nearly reaches all the way to South America. That's tropospheric ducting just out of Namibia. And if you go a little bit north into Angola, some great tropospheric ducting there. Finally, final look here, Southeast Asia, a little quieter in this area for sure, but some great tropospheric ducting available to you on VHF and UHF today on the band. Your ham and shortwave forecast today, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio, and there will be a full show today, by the way, for people that like to watch ham radio live. I'd like to say hello to everybody here, but we're going to just try and focus this first show on solar weather for people. SFI should remain plus or minus 7 through tomorrow. That means we're going to see an SFI fairly stabilizing today. Then I think it drops a little bit more on Friday. Noise floors S0 to S2 today. That's great conditions. Rising to S3 to S5 tomorrow. I think we're going to hit G1 storm with that solar plug coming in right to that coronal hole. Voice bands in the northern hemisphere, 20, 17, 15, 12 in the 10-meter band. Equatorial latitudes will have the same, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. Same for the south. CV radio skip open in the north, mid, and south latitudes. And data modes, great for you, 30 to 10 meters in all latitudes. Your nighttime amateur radio bands, noise floor is quiet today, but rising significantly tomorrow. Band openings for the amateur bands, 160, 80, 60, 40, 30. Remember, your best DX, maximum usable frequency at sunset, then work your lower bands till you reach 40 and 80 overnight. Shortwave band listeners, your daytime bands open 31, 25, 22, and 19, and I really would like to add that 41 meter band as well. We've got good SFI still and a very, very low noise floor today. Nighttime shortwave, decent SFI helps DX so far this week. Noise floors S0 to S1 today, S2 to S5 tomorrow. It's going to be, I think, a loud day tomorrow. Shortwave nighttime bands, 120, 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and 100% chance of 19 meters open in the southern hemisphere about an hour after sunset and the signals will fade away. We'll get today a rating of an 8. You've got some great tropospheric ducting to work today on VHF, UHF, and some decent conditions as well on HF. I think the really shows here that 10-meter line just about to southern Sweden and Norway. I want to thank you for watching this weather segment. That's it for today. I'll be back with the regular Ham Radio live show later on today between 1900 and 20 UTC. Till then, God bless you. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live, and get those radios on. It's a great day to enjoy your radio.